Get ready to be motivated and empowered to take your business to new heights and learn how you can change your business presence with video marketing. Please welcome Mr. Brandan Payne to the show. What's going on, Brandon?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. That was the greatest intro. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Got me feeling good out here.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'm so excited. Thankful for you saying yes. And when we met, I was very intrigued by number one, your presence and just hearing about your story and all those good things. So the first story that actually I want you to do is tell us your why. Tell us a little bit more about you before we get into the good and juicy stuff.
All right. I said the good and juicy stuff. Feels like a reality show podcast right now. I said the good and juicy stuff. Um, my why is definitely part of that. There's multiple reasons, but definitely having two kids. I have a wonderful, beautiful 13-year-old boy, little Brandon, and then I have a beautiful daughter named Audrey, 5 years old. So that becomes a automatic why or drive. You want to set that legacy, set that example as they go through, life in the world. They are going to look up, especially where they came from. So as I continue to blaze that trail, that's definitely a why. I know another big part of the why is I love people. I simply love people from all different walks of life, background, growing up as a military brat, and loving people helps me to want to put more into people. Um, by me being motivated all the time, by me looking at life from different perspectives and getting people to think different. People feed off of that energy. The best way I heard it put is borrowing somebody's belief. So showing that I believe in people and get people excited, they borrow that, and I love that. Just to show people
Yeah.
it's possible.
I love that. Love people. Yes. And you borrowing the belief. And I didn't know that you actually had two beautiful kids. Good job. My oldest is 15 and I have an 11-year-old and they keep me busy.
They grow fast. They
They
grow fast.
grow.
So fast. I just remembered he's 14 now. After September, I'm like, sheesh.
Uh-oh, Dad.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm getting stressed. I'm forgetting my own age, let alone everybody growing.
Like, where has the time gone, right?
It's scary.
So I was reading in your bio and everything. So I know you talk a lot about traveling and being well traveled and all of those good things. So, I noticed that you've been to New York and you've lived in New York and you've been to Japan and all those. So tell us about that.
Wow. Unpacking that, I always say long story short, just a habit. I was born in North Carolina, Fayetteville. Anybody knows that the nickname is Fayetteville. There are two military bases there, Pope Air Force Base and Fort Bragg Army Base. And being born there, from there, my mother met my stepdad, and then we moved to Japan. And I lived in Japan, Yokota Air Force Base, Japan, up until third grade. So a lot of development years at that age, especially first, second, third grade. I remember my first grade teacher, Miss Schwam. Um, Lifestyle's different. I remember, flying kites over there, cherry blossom festivals as a young kid, going to Disneyland as a young kid. It's just you take a lot, and you don't realize, obviously, that
Hmm.
it's different from how your life could have been if I would have grown up in the
Right.
States. And then in the middle of third grade, towards the end, we ended up moving to England. So it was a whole nother world. So a whole time living in England all the way from third grade to 12th grade. So that's a lot of my entirety of my life. Um, Growing up from third to 12th grade, fortunately, I mean, I was able to have my best friend I met in third grade actually stayed there the entire time. So when I say
Mm,
my best friend Matt Trombley, that's also my brother at the same time, because that's rare that two military families are in the same location for that long. And
right.
my dad was in the Air Force. He did medevac and worked in the hospital. And then my mother was considered a DODS teacher, so that's Department of Defense dependent schools.
Oh,
So she taught fourth grade, fifth grade, and I think that's where a lot of that teaching background comes from and why I'm obsessed with teaching. After school, I was the kid running around, still around the schools, playing tetherball. That's before your time. Everybody's young.
if you say so.
Tetherball, right? The big ball you hit around the pole, and that's a
Yes,
dangerous game. They need it.
yes, yes. I like the way you tried to not age me. That's great. So you can always come back. Yeah, that's an invitation automatically.
Right, got you. I got you.
I so have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneurship tied into later in life when I started to realize a lot of things that I were already doing, was already doing, started to it was entrepreneurship. So, I mean, there's different points in my life where whether it was senior back to being in high school in England, my senior year, we do some schools do it, but you do like a senior video when you collect different footage. So I was taking an extracurricular activity called it was like video editing class.
Yeah.
And then from there, the entrepreneurship was like, oh, I'm gonna make the senior video. Like nobody said I had to, just an idea. And then I started charging for the VHS tapes. I'm sorry, I almost said DVDs, the VHS tapes.
Back
I
in the
went to the
day.
BX or Base Exchange and I bought the 3 packs of VHS tapes and I charged $3 for VHS of the end recording and just was collecting that money. I never
Okay.
thought about that again until bringing it up now. But yeah, moments like that, moments like selling candy around the school out of the Tupperware. Back to college days, I had a George Foreman grill, and I used to charge people to come use my George Foreman grill to cook their steaks. I used to rent out
Inside of the
DVD.
dorm room, outside of the window.
Inside the dorm room, yep. Inside the dorm room, they had to pay me to come cook their steaks. I had my room was 309, so I named it 309 Record. So I used to have the old speakers and let people come record off of the iPhone, iPod mic, and they were just rapping it. And I put over some beats and charge them. I would rent DVDs out because everybody needed DVDs, zebra cakes,
Right.
snacks. So
I love it, but because sometimes people, when I ask that question, and when you start actually thinking about it, it's one of those things for me is like how God aligns certain things in your path. So yes, it was already in you. It's like someone asked, do can leaders be born or are they made, right? And so entrepreneurship, sometimes, yeah, you have that thing in you. You just have to tap into it and just make sure that you're consistent because we try little things here and there. I used to do hair. I was in the music industry where I was managing people. So it was all of those things where it's like, I want something bigger and better. Like, what's the next thing? So media and video is a whole new game. So before that, what were you doing before you say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just dive into this whole video world and marketing world and try to intertwine this with helping other businesses through video?
I think you just nailed it on the head. It's kind of like you leaders are kind of made like you go through different things in life and you get these different skill sets, and everything that I've done from different jobs I've worked, I've taken those different skill sets and applied them to the next one and to the next one to the next one. And I think the biggest thing to take anything from this, from no matter what we continue to talk about and anybody listening, is you can reinvent yourself. I've reinvented myself time after time. Just it just gets better based off of the skill set. So to answer that, what I was doing before, I mean, I used to work at, Domino's Pizza, started as a driver. And then that was the dream. The goal is I'll be a regional manager one day. And then from there, you become an assistant manager. And then it's a manager. And then from there, I ended up switching to Picture Me Portrait, which are the photography studios that were inside of Walmart. So
Yes.
now that I had management experience, I went straight into managing a photography studio inside of Walmart, and that was a whole different thing where you're selling over 30 portraits for $8 and trying to get
Wow.
people to spend $300 walking out of there. And then you're competing with other regions, and you're like, oh, I want to be a regional manager of this, and you pull
Right.
those different skill sets and assets from it. And you start learning about terms like ROI and competing against other districts. It's a different mindset.
P&L
Cutting.
report.
You said sorry.
P&L reports, profit and loss.
P&L, yeah, P&L reports, yeah, going through everything.
Yep.
And then I did a lot. I think that's the other thing is I always say venture out and try different things because during those times, I don't even remember how I landed it, but I got an internship with the radio station 101.9 Kiss FM in Eastern North Carolina when I lived there after one point of college. And I learned a lot from that radio station, being around different people, being around different radio stations in one building, being on the stages doing the Dougie and walk it out when all that was hot. Um, it was easier to meet artists. That's when, like, I don't know if like back in the day, Future, Kurt Cobain, and Juvenile, like they're coming to your cities and you're the photographer now. You just picked
Right.
up a camera and it's everything ties into each other.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's the one, it sounds as if you have been aligned with trying to get to this point, this whole entire journey, and and it's important that people understand that. I think I just spoke about it a couple of days ago, when it's more so like listening to what you're praying about, because sometimes it's already in you. You just got to tap into it to make sure that it's you walking your own walk and not staying in somebody else's lane, because sometimes people just get so caught up in wanting to be a business owner, starting a business, to where they just want to do anything. And you have to realize just doing anything causes anything to happen. You're not focusing in on one thing, that thing that's specifically for you. So I was reading a survey, Brandon, on how showing video through social media is almost like 1200% or more, as far as generation, or generates more than text, your text on your website, and also like images. Why is video marketing so important to a business and a brand?
Video marketing is literally the most powerful tool that you can use besides AI. And the reason is why this is the fastest way to 10x your business. Most people don't know how to use video or know how to think or talk about using video. That's why it's confusing sometimes to people. Or there's
Yeah.
a lot of apprehension because the first thought is, oh, I have to be on video, and people are scared to be in front of people. So there's a few different ways that video literally 10x's anybody's business. One is time. It's a time saver. So one thing I always teach in workshops or different clients is creating frequently asked question videos. Where are you repeating yourself over and over and over? We all do that. Whether it's somebody at your front desk, the gatekeeper, you telling clients how to do something, telling prospects, people have the same questions, objections. If you can record that on video and then you put that in front of people before they have to ask the questions, you get a lot of your time back.
Yeah.
And time is
Yeah.
such a huge asset when it comes to building a business and where you're spending that time. Are you putting it into revenue generating activities? Like, that's just one way to use video that will change everything for you. And I know everyone listening right now is like, oh, I could record some of the things. I'm tired of repeating myself over and over and over. So to be able to record that and have other people watch it.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm one of those. I'm one of the I have to agree. Like, it took me so long, even though I've been in business, and several businesses since like 2009 or even before. It took me a while to even embrace it. That's why I wanted to have you on. So when we met, I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity for me to learn more, because I've always been told you need to be on YouTube, you need to start video, you need to actually incorporate video on your website because people want to see you. And I'm like, well, I didn't want a business that brands me. I want people to actually know about the product and the services versus the person that's building the business per se. And I think a lot of business owners that even in our generation that are starting their business or have been in businesses for years, it's taken us a long time to actually get to that point. Would you say? I lost you.
Yes. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. So with that, I mean, it's do you think that early on, when is a good time to say, "Hey, I really want," does it hurt the business if you wait later in your company to say, "Hey, I want to actually start this video marketing"? Because even when you're starting the business, you have to actually do some type of marketing to get the name out there. So is there a best time over another to actually do the marketing for video?
I think the best time is to start right away when it comes to actually leveraging video. The thing is that there's I don't want to say almost kind of a misconception where it's like a lot of what you're hearing is personal brand, personal brand, brand, personal brand. Like, you need to be on camera, you need to be in front of people, you need to showcase yourself. I don't think that's always the case. I think, and you can see it. I mean, if you think about Coca-Cola, you think about Yahoo, if some of your bigger brands, or you think about even some of your smaller brands. There's a local photo booth I was just talking to not too long ago where you don't know who the face is behind it. And they do a lot because at the end of the day, it's a service that people need. They're going to reach out and say, hey, I need your service. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
setting that up now. So I think
So
the importance is just leveraging the tool. It's not so much about you being on camera. It's actually just about posting. You can post a lot behind the scenes and showcase the process. You can also post a lot to demonstrate, informational videos without being on there. I think
Yeah,
that's where
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that's where it needs to be doubled down and understood that, hey, at the end of the day, it's just a tool to continue to showcase your process, showcase why you're different. Now, if you want to go advanced and really stand out and you want to go that personal brand route and show even more behind the scenes and the personalities behind the business, I think that, yes, that's beneficial. Yes, we are moving in a world where personal brand does help tremendously. But there's other ways around it. You think about even another example, Wendy's, McDonald's, and Burger King, when they get on Twitter or Threads now or X, whatever it's called, they say little jokes and comments that feel like a personal brand, but there's no face behind it still.
Right. So do you think I would succeed if I decided, you know what, I just want to start this business and I'm not going to put my face on there, but everything is same. I have my brand colors, everything has the same messaging and it's just that warm feeling and I would still survive or it'll take me longer than my competition.
I, I think specifically for your situation, you need to definitely focus on being on video. And the reason why, it's all contextual.
Yeah.
You are a personal brand, especially when you talk about coaching, business coaching, helping people, schools, education. That's what people relate to, especially when you're talking about education and schools and getting people to that next career development or level. People want to be able to relate to you and see that, hey, you understand what I'm going through. It makes sense. I trust you more. I feel like I know you. I feel like I like you. I feel like I trust you to guide my life, my
Yeah.
journey, where I'm going. So that does matter. So the good news to this is it's actually easier to be comfortable on camera than you
Mm,
think. It's just changing that mindset. And that's a lot of what I've learned off of having different clients or helping people with camera. I know what your objections are after
yeah.
time. And you make it easier for them. And I'll give you some ways in just a moment. Let me see if I can connect this.
Okay. So, as you do that, and it's bringing up the actual AI. I know you actually stated in a statement before that AI is the game changer. That's helping people streamline their task and boosting their productivity and staying ahead of the competition. Uh, I was interested in how you felt about that, the AI with business and AI versus education, and where you see that plays a factor.
Can you rephrase that for me?
So I know you were talking about AI being a game changer, right? And then helping businesses actually streamline their task and productivity. So I know a lot of just people in general are just so caught up in what AI is going to do for business and to the consumer. So is it going to take jobs? Is it going to allow people to actually, become more dependent on certain things or facts or things that are true or not true? So, what are your points on that? I know you say that you're the AI coach, business coach. So, I wanted to ask you about that. What does that look like as far as businesses and consumer?
I think the first step to really answer that is to understand what AI is, and I think that's where a lot of people get confused. So I just didn't want to go straight into that. And the very simple version I always explain to people is with AI, all it is it's been around for a very long time. A lot of people have used AI in different ways. Like it's been around for years on top of years. So when they found the people who did the Boston bombers, they leveraged AI. Like they used little dots. If somebody was in a cafe and they had like little red dots that attached to either somebody's elbow, their hand from the CCTV camera. And imagine if all the dots moved towards the door and there are a few set of dots that stayed on this side. That helped say, okay, something's wrong with this picture and grabs attention. Another example is like back in like when you had Qatar or different places in Iran when they were trying to get different terrorists, they would leverage it instead of going into the cave to go get somebody. They may put in all the information and run different scenarios. So, okay, should we cut off their water supply? Should we send 15 people in there to try to get them and then come from the east? Should we do, and when you type in all the information, all the artificial intelligence does is run a bunch of different scenarios and help you calculate. So it's been around for a long time, down to choosing your Netflix episode. How do you think it chooses that? It's all falls under what's called like machine learning. So
Yeah.
it's not new. The only difference now and why you keep hearing AI is it's now democratized. So it's available to the public. So that's why people are more scared. People can use it for harm, different things along those lines. But like I
Yeah.
said, the government had it first, so you can imagine.
We're just
So
now getting into it. Yeah.
that's the only difference. Now the next level is to break that down even simpler is what happens and why people are kind of apprehensive is most people that understand AI are so nerded out about AI, and I consider myself a nerd at the same time, but some are so nerded out about AI that they don't know how to explain it to the average person. So when you hear it, it gets scary. It's like, okay, I don't understand all this jargon. It doesn't make sense. I don't even want to touch it. Then there's the other side where people are like, oh, AI is automate this, automate that, automate everything. And that's not what AI is about either. So I sit in between of saying, hey, there are very simple to use AI tools, and some of them are even free or cheap for $5, $10, $25 a month, maybe more, that will help you get things done faster. Imagine being in a room and you have like 100 experts and whatever you need to get done, and they can do it for you. Now it sounds okay. I'm open to hear more. So
Yeah.
here's the catch. If I just told you there's a tool that will literally help 10x your business is the next most powerful business tool, and it's like having 100 people in the room that will get things done for you, and you choose not to use it, you can answer the question of what's going to happen. You can
Right.
continue to be scared and not go in that room of 100 experts that I just said is there.
Right.
It's not saying that you're going to be out of business, but you call a spade after enough time and enough people start going in that room and getting expert help, they're going to start growing a lot faster, and you're going to start, well, how did you do?
Right.
So
Right.
that's the difference of leveraging AI right now.
So as as an AI business coach, how do you help them get to the one, from the bottom to the top, or just to scale their business from where they are, considering that using AI?
So one of the ways, and it's all everything's a learning lesson. So one of the things when I first started teaching people was I would get excited, I would take all of the knowledge and show them how to do different things with AI. But obviously that's why you do, so you can find the problems and then overcome them. The problem with that is people would get excited and learn different things, but they would be like, okay, that's amazing. Now can you do it for me? So then I
Mm,
had to dial back and reset. Okay, what is the difference? Now I have to show you even simpler tools that you can do immediately. So here's an example. Like if you're a coach or you have, for your example, you're helping people with education and different aspects. There's a whole Spanish community or a Brazilian community or different ethnicities that you can help that you may not directly speak the language. So now if you record content, strategic content in a certain way that talks to someone, you can take that and use tools like rask.ai, or you can even use like the captions app, and you can take that and video that you created and put that into Spanish. And now you may have just a whole Spanish Instagram page or Facebook page and draw a whole nother audience that needs help in. Imagine if you have an e-commerce product and you have this beauty product and everything's been English, but now you can go into Germany and I can create a whole bunch of German content and start to pull in customers buying my stuff from Germany. All because it looks like I'm speaking German now through a video using AI.
being relatable and being able to be scalable and connected. I like it. And if anybody that's listening, just to hear what he just said, I'm like, okay, I need to go and create me a Spanish page. That's a
You
gem.
don't know who relates to you, and people will relate with your
Right.
personality.
Yeah, absolutely. Like what you said, it's like people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
No,
Right?
they know, like, and trust. And here's the extra step. I'll give you an example. I have a client recently just started to. She's a real estate agent. Just started, and we create 10 social media reels. We strategically script them out every time so she knows what to say. The overcoming objections of being scared on camera is I have her read one line, say it to the camera. Read another line, say it to the camera. It ends up being a 4 to 5 minute video. People don't realize that. And then you edit it. All the work's done in the back end. When you edit it, it's like this 30, 60-second video that looks amazing. But really, it was a read one line, say it to the camera. That's where people get confused. Not everybody's the best actor in the world. But to fast forward, what I'm saying is she only started posting because I teach them a whole system for about like 5 to 7 videos. And already
Mhm.
there, people started reaching out to her or calling or texting her number. And then they were actually 3 people were Chinese that were looking for a Chinese realtor. So she does not speak Chinese. So she stopped there. And she was like, it's good that people are coming in, but they were Chinese. So here's the extra step of causing you to think different or critical thinking. I said, okay, even though they speak Chinese and you don't, that's a referral fee. They were specifically resonated with your content. They asked for a Chinese realtor. Now you need to find in your network or one of these Facebook groups who's a Chinese speaking realtor. And now
Right.
you have this whole nother income stream
Right.
just because they're
Exactly.
resonate. Yeah,
Yeah, and I because I even would have went as far as, yeah, just connecting somebody or even hiring somebody into my business that actually spoke the language. But yeah, I mean referral fees as well. That's definitely another whole another ball game. But yeah, so she just got intimidated just based off of that alone. But she saw that it worked. So if it works, you rinse and repeat. Just figure out how the solution to the problem is. Go and get help.
exactly.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, getting having the services like this. So tell us about Pain Point Media, because I know that people think, oh, you know what, this kind of thing is so expensive. It's a huge investment, especially for startups, right? So if you're just starting your business, you're thinking about logos and websites and, automation and all those type of things that are going to literally cost you in the front end. But then the back end of it, how affordable is something like this? Like, you know what, I really want to dive into this just to get this going, and my presence need to be completely professional from the beginning. What does that cost?
So two parts to that because I've structured everything with. I know you asked about Pain Point Media, but I also want to give people advice that don't go that route and they can do on their own. So when it comes to marketing and sales, marketing always will trump sales. The reason why marketing trumps sales is you have to be out in front of people till they have the chance to even buy from you. People think it's sales first. It's not sales first. You can't sell anything if nobody's there to sell it to. So you have to understand that marketing is first. And most people don't understand marketing. That's just the reality of it. So it's like, how do you get out in front of people? Now, the good part about it, it's free. There's a million different ways to do free marketing. You can go door to door depending on your business, and you can knock. It's just time, it's effort. You can message people, random people all over the internet. You can cold call or pick up the phone. You can send emails every day. There's a lot of different ways that each one of those work. There's only a certain amount of doors, there's a certain amount of phone calls, there's a certain amount of social media posts. But when you have strategy and you start to put different things in different avenues and get strategic, that's when things start to happen. So, as far as yes, you can do free, but if you do paid, that's more at scale and speed. You things start to happen for you faster. You go get the information of how other people are doing things that are working. Then again, with that comes discernment because there's a lot of people that you see that say, "Oh, this works. Come try this new thing, this new
Yeah,
opportunity." So there's a
right.
lot of analysis paralysis or new object signing syndrome. So
Yeah.
the best thing I always say is, well, what I'm doing now to combat that is my thing was I learned to sell premium first. So at first, my logic, I was gonna say, okay, I'll go to restaurants and I'll sell $500 um, for a video and get the cheese oozing on the nachos, and I'll get eight clients, and that'll stack up. And that was my logic at
Yeah.
first. From paying for a course years ago, I learned how to sell a video at 2,500, but that video was so powerful. That's why it was worth 2,500. It's a video business card on says who you are, why do you even do what you do, what do you do, how are you different, and it has a call to action. And it's a 1 to 2 minute video that takes you through the essence of somebody's business. And then I show them how to pin that on their website, put that in their email signature, play that at a networking event before they even speak on stage and leverage it. Now you can see the value. Like, okay, that starts to sound worth 2,500.
Mhm.
Then from there, you start to learn like retainers, and you're closing 5 grand or 7 grand or 10 grand. So it's monthly recurring, but you're just solving bigger problems. So coming back to where I'm at now is I learned that but then when I started talking to brokers and realtors and lenders in certain spaces, not everybody can do 2,500 a month or 5,000 or 10,000, whatever a month, especially if you're not a big corporate company.
Right.
So I found the sweet spot was anywhere from 500 to like 1,000 a month, where I'm actually scripting for an hour to hour and a half via Zoom or in person. It allows me to be remote. And then I have people film from their smartphone or cell phone, record 10 different reels or videos. They send them to me. I edit, do all the work. And then I have them post across all of their social media platforms:
Mm.
TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, Instagram. Now that's helping with SEO because you're everywhere. You're helping with visibility. You've done all the work in when we did the scripting session, and now you're strategic about what you're saying everywhere. And guess what? Your competition's not doing it.
Yeah.
So by default, with me having not convincing, you're like, that seems like a no-brainer. I'm everywhere. I'm posting strategic content I thought about that's relatable. Like,
I
it's
like
not
that.
hard to see. And then on top of that, I teach strategies of now you need to be messaging 1 to 5 people a day because that tells the algorithm, say if it's on Facebook, hey, these people are messaging, they must be friends. Let's show each other more content. Well, guess what? I'm posting every day or every other day. So
Yeah.
now you're seeing all my stuff. I have a call to action on the bottom. See,
Right.
it's a no. I don't have to convince anybody. It's like, okay, I like tangible stuff. If you do A, you're gonna get B. Now that's
Yeah.
long term. You want to continue to do that over time, but especially if you're selling high ticket, you can see where the return is. And
Right.
then just the thinking side from the coaching or not, I was gonna end up doing like a lower continuity offer or consistent where it's gonna be like $9 or $10, $20 a month for reoccurring, like the price of a coffee. You hear that all the time. Well, for the price of
Right.
a coffee. When I sold the first one, I was like, you know what? I'll do it for $50. I knew I was giving away the house, but $50. And then that normally 100, but then goes to 50. So then that started to grow and it's starting to grow. So I'm like, for $50, you're getting 1 to 2 monthly workshops where I break down how to do your Instagram bio, do a credibility statement, what needs to be said to help you to stand out. What does your LinkedIn bio need to be? Because your messaging is different on LinkedIn. You need to talk to people. You need to ask questions on LinkedIn to bring engagement. Like it's more a conversational platform. How do
Gotcha.
you send video messages on LinkedIn to people? How do you leverage going live on LinkedIn? Like there's so much, each platform is different. So yeah, breaking that down. How to use simple AI tools. How to use Chat GPT. Like I go down that don't get me started because I go down the rabbit hole where even people think that they know how to use it, don't know how to use it
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I think it I mean, so it's so much and it can be so intimidating for someone that, hey, I'm just wanting to run my business. Now I got to think about posting. Now I got to think about likes. Now I have to, play this role and actually think about what I want to say. And
Hmm.
just not getting a teleprompter, you have to literally be engaged just to make sure that the marketing is there. And I do totally agree with you. Marketing is totally different than sales. People think marketing is sales and it's two totally different things.
So
And
I would only sorry to interrupt too.
no, go ahead.
I would say I think that's a weird sweet spot. Marketing, they do intertwine. I think
They
that's where a
intertwine,
lot
but
of
they're different, right?
that's a great that's we need a whole nother episode on just marketing and sales. I think that's great. They're different, but here's a disconnect, and this is what happens a lot with the bigger corporate companies. The
Mhm.
marketing departments over here and the sales departments over here, and they do not work together because they
Right.
act as they're different when they need to be working together. And
Mhm.
the reason why I say that, when you take the marketing and the sales, this is all about messaging. And these
Mhm.
have to tie into it because at the end of the day, it's all process. Once I market, I want to get you to take an action to essentially close the deal. So that's why I'm all about. When I said amateur stock tactics, but professional stock strategies, that's the difference of having like a sales trifecta, a promotional video that pushes you to the website that then has a video business card that gives you all the information you need to know about a company, a business, or why you should work with us.
Yeah.
Then under that is supporting testimonials, which is your social proof of other people. So we said how amazing we are and gave you all the information. Then we have other people saying how amazing it is to work with us. That's a system. So it's the same thing with marketing and sales. It all still works together. They're different parts of the circle, but
Mhm.
it does tie back into each other. And the
Yeah.
messaging has to flow.
Right. I mean, absolutely. So that's why the marketing is important because the message has to be the same so it can flow into the sales, right?
Hmm.
So that's even like selling from the stage is like, okay, well, you don't know that this person is actually selling, but this person is actually marketing their brand and what they're doing and they're offering a service to you, but you don't actually see it
So
happening.
that's a great
And some
example.
Right. So it's like one of those things where you could actually a great speaker at any event is going to sell you and you're not knowing that he or she is actually
Hmm.
selling you. And that's the part of the whole marketing piece of it. So me showing up as the brand, now I'm presenting to you, whatever topic that you're in, leadership, education, as you say. But at the end, oh my goodness, I really like this person. Like now you like me. You hear my voice, the tone of my voice, I feel compassionate, right? So you know this. So now at the end, it could be one of those things. Hey, I do offer X, Y, and Z type of services.
Yep.
Or, you can actually choose to do this or you can choose not to. Either way, eventually it's going to come back to me and you're going to want to have to work with me. So yeah, I totally agree with you. It just depends on how it's packaged.
Yes, all the packaging. That's the biggest part. Most people's packaging or how they convey their message.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So about your services, so Pain Point Media, and I was looking at all of the great things in the video and how you actually tie into like going across the world and the traveling, all the things that you've done and all these business that you've helped. So, I mean, what's next for you? And I mean, how do you bring this to a whole new, a bigger thing for you? Like, what's next for Pain Point Media and Brandon?
What's next? Wow. So definitely personal brand, doubling down on that. I think that's huge. Depending on, like I said, everybody has to choose which route they want to go. I think personal brand things are going there regardless. So doubling down on that. Definitely, it's like about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I said I wanted to start speaking more. So started to get in more speaking engagements, doing more workshops at brokerages. And then as you do, and you, like I said before, as you continue to take action, you learn more. So speaking at the brokerages, it doesn't matter if it's a room of 4 or 400. When I get people to sign on, that ties back into, okay, I can help them with the reels, or I can throw them in this program, or I can help you in some way. It's also
Right.
get you better at the skill of speaking in your own style. Also shows you what people resonate, don't resonate with, what objections are.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
also led us to, even we were just at an event together, a Forbes event in New York that we randomly flew up within 2 weeks. That wouldn't have
Right.
happened, I know, if I wasn't continually posting, if I didn't have speaker in the bio and things along those lines. And then it's
Yeah.
leveraging that to go the next. So the next one is just kind of growing that personal brand, continue to grow this broker realtor space. I'm really excited about that. There's so many realtors, brokers, and lenders and title companies. I'm like, my
So
mind has been blown. And I think with video, I mean, that's video and motivation and accountability is going to be a game changer. There's a lot of real estate coaches, but they're saying the same things. A lot of them don't understand video marketing. A lot of people that do video don't understand video. So I'm excited to start serving in that space a lot more. Yeah, and then even learning speaker sponsors. A lot of insurance companies want to get in front of them, so they'll sponsor
mm,
you to speak. I call them speaker sponsors now as a
on their behalf?
on their back. So that was the con. It's like you can create anything you want to in the space. So that's what I found. Insurance and lenders want to be in front of brokers and realtors. So then I
Mhm.
started putting together. I was like, well, they'll pay me to speak in front of, because I can just call a broker and say, hey, can I come teach a video marketing class all day long? Of course, they they want that. So insurance companies will pay. They'll sponsor the food and pay you directly. That way, they get in front of the brokers and realtors,
Wow.
and they're providing, they're providing this workshop on their behalf.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. See, this is why I wanted to have him on the show, you guys, because he's so full of information, so full of knowledge, and I love it. And I know that I will be using your services, so don't doubt. We talk, and when I was like, I just have to have you on the show, so I'm looking forward to that side conversation how you and I can actually work together. Um, so speaking more, because we'll talk about that because I want you to see if you want to come to Houston. I'm in Houston, everybody, so
I
I'm
have family
interested
there.
in to get you on stage. Yes, absolutely. I'm actually getting ready to do I start promoting for Elevate to Clarity. So it's an event and also that we wanted to actually throw here, but it will be virtual first. So I'll give you some information on that as well. But as far as getting in contact with you, because I know you're in Florida, right?
Yes.
So if the listeners say, you know what, this guy is all about it. He knows AI, he knows how to market, he knows he's speaking my language. How can they contact you?
I would say the best way is either follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message, and that's Brandon, Brandan_Payne, Payne. So my first name's spelled a little bit different. Brandan_Payne, Payne. Or you can shoot me an email at Brandon, Brandan at Pain Point Media, and that's Payne point Point media. And then you
Yeah.
could yeah, visit my website or painpointmedia.com, or just go online. Well, somebody said Google me.
Google me. I'll also share his information on in the show notes as well. So again, we are on Spotify and Google and Apple. So you can actually, stream us and you'll find that in the show notes. So I'll share that. But I have enjoyed having you. I enjoyed our conversation and I've learned so much. And the things that I've actually learned more in this conversation is that making sure that you are still in tune and engaged, because if you're starting a business, even if you're a startup, if you've been in business 5 to 10 years, or for 10 to 20 years, marketing is important, but video is most important, because now your future customer, future client now can find you. Now they can relate to you because they actually can see you, right? And that way you say, you love people. You actually started this out because you really want to be more engaging to people. People love that connection. And that was one of the things I always say for me, is that I'm such an old school, I'm a 70s baby. You heard that right.
Yeah, right.
So connecting with people face to face, it has always been important to me, because I want you to know that I genuinely care. I'm here to actually hear you, and then you can only do that if you can feel me and see me live. But now I'm learning these different ways to actually resonate with my audience through video, and so I'm going to borrow your belief on that.
Love it, love it, love it. They borrow the belief.
I'm gonna continue to do that. So I'm learning that from you today as well. But market first. He said that, you guys, you want to market first if you don't do anything. So yeah, you're building your business, but even before you open a business, as you can see, people say save the date, coming soon, throw out a video and let them know here's to come. Because sometimes people will contact you even knowing that you're now available and you're starting that business, so they can be the first to get in the door. And then also marketing, video marketing can save you time. You heard him say that, saving you time, and actually, you know, having someone to do something for you so you can focus on things that's in and on your business, focusing on based off the little nuances of video editing and all of that can take us 3 hours. It could take him 30 minutes. So thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here and be a guest following Denise Nicholson, Chandler Thomas. Saw them on their great episode as well. So my goal was to
Yes.
crush them.
Hey, and I hope this won't be the last, because I want to hear some more about this whole realty and real estate thing that you have going on, because that's huge. I didn't even know that they would pay you for that. But so I wanted to, once you get that going, just hey, hit me up and come back and share that news with us.
Definitely, I would love to.
Cool. So any last minute words that you want to share before we go ahead and close out?
Just keep getting after it. I mean, entrepreneurship is a journey. It's literally there's no end to it. It's comes down to enjoying the journey, enjoying the process, enjoying the peaks, enjoying the valleys. Um, yeah, it's what you make it, and just staying focused on different goals that you set. And proximity, that's the big one, especially right now. It's a season of overwhelm. A lot of people joke sometimes. One of the best jokes I heard, like, oh, I just might give it up and go back to Starbucks or something like that. Somebody said the other day. And it's like, no, don't, just keep going, keep enjoying the journey. And proximity is big.
Yes, proximity. Get in the rooms, when you get connected. So thank you so much. And this has been another episode of the Sly Ed Experience, where successors lead you through education and determination. I'm your girl, Latasha Sly. And until next time, I see you on the side, and be blessed.